Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a tag. It's the Read Soul Lit tag. I was tagged by Tati. I got the tweet this morning, and she was tagged by Dee, who is Brown Girl Reading. There are 11 questions. I will answer the questions to the best of my ability. I only saw Tati's video. I have a host of other videos to watch, and maybe some of the books will be in common and other ones I may hear about and check out, or we'll see how that goes. All right, the very first question is, what books are you looking forward to reading this February in honor of Black History Month? The first book I'm looking forward to reading is Unforgivable Love by Sophronia Scott. I don't have hard copies of any of these books, but you'll see book covers as I mention each title. And yes, I have all the books that I'm referring to today. Another book that I'm looking forward to reading this month is something that might come up in another question, and that book is called An Unconditional Freedom by Alyssa Cole. I became familiar with Alyssa Cole because I read a couple of her other books, which one was A Princess by Design, and the other is A Duke by Default. I also have Prince on Paper, and that I'll be reading in the next few days. So when I was on NetGalley and I was confirming that I have I didn't get that from NetGalley, I got that from Edelweiss. When I was looking that up, I noticed that she had An Unconditional Freedom. So that is one of the ones that I'm looking forward to reading this month. Two of hers that I'm looking forward to reading this month. All right, question number 2. Cite and talk about a classic Read Soul Lit book published before 1970 that you love. Now, this is a title that I read years and years ago, which is Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. I will be rereading that because it's been decades, literally. So I do need to reread that. So I can't really talk much about it beyond saying that that would be the one that comes to mind, and that will be one that I will be rereading. Question number 3. What Read Soul Lit book would you like to see adapted to film? Now, this is a hard question because I haven't read a lot of Black literature, especially since I've only been reviewing less than a year. And before that, I had a reading drought. So I'm going to go by a recommendation of a friend of mine and for part of the answer, but the other part of the answer, I'm going to use Alyssa Cole's titles. And I've already mentioned 2 of them, Princess by Design and A Duke by Default. These are great because they have people entitled that you would see usually in a historical romance, but these are modern day romances. And in each case, they're interracial. The females are all African American, and they find themselves in very interesting situations. And I think these would be great movies, maybe made for television movies that people would enjoy reading. Now, other books that were recommended to me by my friend Fashawn, one would be Cynthia Bond's Ruby. I have that, and of course the cover will show now, and I hope to read that. Another author is Beverly Jenkins. She has quite a few books: Forbidden, Breathless, Tempest. I'll say them a little slower so that I can pop each cover up. Forbidden, then Breathless, then Tempest. And there's a new one called Rebel that I've requested off of NetGalley, so I don't know if I'll get that one. And if so, I will read that. Now, question number 4. Show and talk about one of your favorite Read Soul Lit books by a male author. Totally missed the mark on this one. So I am going to name 3 books that I saw recommended, either by Tati, or I did see maybe 5 minutes of Dee Dee's video. And so I did download all 3 of these books from my local library, and they are Devil in a Blue Dress by Walter Mosley, Bedrock Faith by Eric Charles May, and Another Country by James Baldwin. I don't know if I'll have time to read all 3 of them, but those are the only 3 that I can show and talk about that I feel comfortable in recommending at this point. Question number 5. What Read Soul Lit new releases are you excited about this year? Well, I have 2 that I got from either NetGalley or Edelweiss. And one of them is The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls by Anissa Gray. And another one is, two actually are the ones that I've already mentioned, which is An Unconditional Freedom by Alyssa Cole and A Prince on Paper by Alyssa Cole. Those are all books that will be out in the next few months that I have those three. Another one that I do not yet have, and I'm sure it will come into my hands, is, let's see, where are we at? This is by Attica Locke, Heaven My Home, and this isn't going to be released until September, so it hasn't shown yet on the review sites. Question number 6. A lot of us diehard fans refer to Toni Morrison as the Queen. Which writer do you feel could be the next queen in African American literature? That would have to be Beverly Jenkins, because she writes several genres, and she's very, I haven't heard her name, only maybe one other time other than seeing it on NetGalley, but because she writes in paranormal and modern and other genres, she's very well written, so therefore she might surprise us and be the next big thing out there. Now, number 7, what is the last book by an African American author that you read, loved, and gave either a 4 or 5-star rating to? Well, this is easy. It's Redemption of the Heart by Moni Boyce. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I probably could have even given it 4.5, but 4 stars is what I gave it. It's a great book. It's a redemption story, a story where the impossible happened, and the impossible will happen in the future, and it's a situation where forgiveness is a huge factor, which is why the book is mentioned. The name Redemption is in the title. I would recommend that book. Again, I'm going to name Alyssa Cole again because I did just read 2 of her books, which I also gave 4 stars to, and that's A Princess by Design and A Duke by Default. So those 3 books that I've read in the last week or so that I gave 4 stars to. Now, question number 8. Show some beautiful books by African American authors. And the first one that I've already mentioned is Anissa Gray's The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls. I love that cover. Another 2 covers I can show you are by Donnell Clayton. Now, she has 2 books called The Bells and The Everlasting Rose. Those covers are gorgeous. The women on these covers are gorgeous, so I think those 3 would be 3 of the prettiest covers. I do want to go back and say Alyssa Cole again. If you look at Duke by Default and that dress that woman is wearing, and I'll pop that cover up, I think that's another beautiful cover. Okay, that takes me to question number 9. Now, Black History Month is about people, or its people. What book would you like to read or to learn more about African Americans? Well, here's a book that I've had for 2 months now. I think it comes out in May. I didn't write the date down here, but this is called, let's see, To Turn the Whole World Over by Keisha N. Blaine and Tiffany M. Gill. This is about Black women and internationalism in the 1940s. So I thought that would be a good read. And the reason I got this book is because I believe around the first week or so of January, I was challenged to read a nonfiction title. And not only did I find a nonfiction title, but in this case, it's about African Americans, so it will fit here easily. Now, show what you're currently reading from your Read Soul Lit TBR. What I am currently reading, or what I will be reading, are Prince on Paper, An Extraordinary Union, and An Unconditional Freedom. These are all by Alyssa Cole. You're probably tired of hearing her name. Now, there is a second book in the series that has The Extraordinary Union and Unconditional Freedom, and that's A Hope Divided. That's on hold on several libraries, so I don't know if I'll be able to get that in this month. A couple other books I'd like to mention that I might try to read is Queen Sugar by Natalie Bazile and Bluebird by Attica Locke. So those I will put on my TBR. They may not be able to be read in February, and I have them reserved from the library for 2 to 3 weeks, so I should be able to get those done soon. And I'm at the end because question 11 or prompt 11 is lastly, tag 5 or more people to do this tag. Okay, here we go. Naya reads and smiles, and all of the links will be in the description box below. Angel in her books, Francine Simone, Lucy reads, and last but not least is Oh She Reads. There we go. I hope that this tag will be something that I can accomplish, or I can read some of these books here. I may not be able to get them all read, but one thing I like about what Tati said is maybe this can carry on for several months or until next year. But I have a very, very well-defined list. I think I came up with 22 books. I may not have mentioned all 22 here, but I do have them. I have all of the covers for them. And each, except for the one book that's on hold from my library and another book that I've requested on NetGalley, I have 22 and I've requested 2 more. So there's a total of 24 tentative books on my TBR that will cover this Read Soul Lit or Black History Month challenge. Okay, thank you for your time. Bye.